What's up, guys? I'm that kangaroo, and we're excited for this episode because I finally get to get into stuff, get some fighting going on. To recap last episode, for those who skipped it, it was rather long, so I don't blame you. We talked to the Emerald Herald. She basically tells us that there are 4 old souls that we need to encounter and absorb before we can be strong enough to visit that castle up there, which is Dranglake Castle. And we also talked to him. He let us into a covenant that we don't really need, especially since I'm playing offline. It's just an early on covenant. But we're soon in this video going to be going over to that area right there. You can see it from up here, and really cool. I'll show you. I did not gather any of the other items, but from this area because I wanted to make sure you guys saw it in this video. But I did level up my strength one time. We're gonna go back over here and finally light this bonfire. This is the main bonfire in the game, pretty much. But yeah, Crestfallen Salden, that guy at the top up there, and her, they both were talking about these old dead ones that I'm going to encounter at some point in my journey, and that's kind of explaining the story of the game. But they don't really tell you that which way to go, and it's kind of cool because you can go whichever way you want. This area down here leads to the area that they kind of want you to go to first. You don't have to, but it's easier. It's the Forest of the Fallen Giants. We're going to run over to Hade's Tower of Flame, which is the other area you can go to right away, which is down in this little area. But it's harder, so keep in mind, if you can't do this, then don't worry about it. But I'm going to run over there to show you, because there's a very, very good item early on in that area, and it's easy to get to. Though, bonfires. Bonfires are incredibly useful in this game. When you touch a bonfire, first off, it respawns all the enemies that you just destroyed. Unless, of course, you farm them to extinction, which can take a while, depending on how many times that enemy will respawn. There are varying rates of respawns. So, but this will also restore all of your spell uses and all of your Estus uses, and restore weapon durability. Like, if your weapon, as long as your weapon didn't break, it will restore your weapon durability when you touch the bonfire. If it breaks, you have to go to the blacksmith and repair it, but they don't really cost that much. But you can travel to any previously visited bonfire from the start of the game in this one. In Dark Souls 1, you had to play it through about halfway through the game to get the Lord Vessel to travel. In Dark Souls 2, you can fast travel right away as long as you've already visited that bonfire. There's lots of other areas in this game, obviously, as you could see, and that's not all of them. There's several more. But I can't travel there yet because I have not been to that bonfire. You can also attune spells. I don't have any spells, nor do I have any attunement slots, so I can't. But you can only switch out what spells you want to use at a bonfire, and you do that here, but you have to have a high enough attunement, which gives you attunement slots. Burning. You can burn human effigies, but this does not restore your humanity. What this does is it prevents, I don't even think it 100% prevents, but it greatly reduces your odds of being invaded. So burning this will greatly reduce your odds of being invaded for a period of time. It also will mean that it makes it a lot harder for you to summon other people to help you. So keep in mind when you use this. I don't even really ever use it. I like being invaded personally because it just adds an extra element to the game. There's 3 other items that you can burn in the bonfire, and I'll show you once we get them. Item box. The last thing that bonfire allows you to do is store anything you don't want. You have to touch a bonfire to access this box later on, so you can't just pull an item out of this box at any time. But say if it's item the Morningstar, I'm not really gonna, I might use it. I'm not gonna use the dagger though, so I'll store the dagger. It means it's there, it's out of my inventory, so I don't have as much clutter in my inventory. And that's pretty much it. I do have that other ring, might as well slap that on really quick. But that previous video also showed blacksmith here, which you have to find a key for, and he'll open up his little blacksmith shop. The key's very early on. Run over here and grab this item. Life gem. Take it. I'll take it. There's a bottomless pit right here. And it is bottomless. You can't fall to the bottom. You will die. But you can also fall on these little platforms here. And the cat inside here sells a ring, which I showed, that reduces fall damage. She is a PC. You can talk to her. She sells a ring that reduces fall damage. And if you have just enough health and you put that ring on, you can survive the fall down to there. And from there, you can survive all the other falls. Otherwise, you have to have a guy, a ladder smith is what he's called. You have to find him later in the game. He'll sit right here, and you can then pay him to put ladders down for you. It's just one of the options. There's also an item up here. This is a merchant. He sells shields. In fact, I do want to buy... I recommend buying a shield. I do. Especially because the 90% shield that he sells... First off, you're spending souls with him. If you spend souls with him, up to 16,000 souls, he will start carrying the armor of bosses that you have killed already. And he'll carry other items, so he'll carry a lot more. So even if you find other shields early on, whatever, buy this one anyway, so you put towards your souls spent on him. It's also a good shield, and I recommend just having it.
Please come again.
Go up here, get a Titanite shard. Again, just in case it's a mimic. It's not. I know where the mimics are for the most part. But why not? Don't hit it 3 times. Just don't hit it 3 times. I always grab the item, Titanite shard, and then I like to break it, just for the hell of it. Oh, yeah, it's an upgrade item, so it's going to be over at the end. Reinforces equipment. Titanite shard. Used to reinforce equipment. Reinforces equipment up to +3. So there's different tiers of this item. This is the lowest tier. Titanite was discovered in an ancient layer of earth and is said to be a gift of the gods. Titanite of this size has very little power, but is still rare find. It's good. Allows you to upgrade your weapons and armor at the blacksmith. All the way up to +10, which is doing the max amount of damage for that weapon. Alright. Gonna run up and grab this last little item. There is that little area over there. There are 2 other NPCs over there. That's actually where you get the Pyromancer, down there, and the Pyromancer is petrified. We'll come back to that when I actually have the item to unpetrify her, because otherwise it's pointless going there. So I'm just telling you now, like, you can't... You can go here from the beginning, you can talk to the guy and figure things out, but you can't do anything with it yet, so you might as well just wait till you get the... I get another soul. I did. I need a... Oh, a divine blessing. Haha. Fully restores HP and cures all status effects. Holy water endowed with the divine blessing cures status effects of fully restores HP. Water blessed by an ancient goddess. Her name is long forgotten, and the Magic Academy of Melphia denies even her existence. I wonder who that old ancient goddess could be. Could he be referring to that? Dusk. But I don't know. Probably not. In any age, there are those who refuse to see reason. It is their meddling that distorts the truth. Let's go get the really important item. Got 2 really important items. How did I almost ran right past this? Don't miss this one. Run up, hit this rock. Just give it a whack. Fall in there. Bring up the Estus Flask shard. Yes. I talked a little bit about it in the last video. Your Estus Flask. A green glass bottle of unknown make. Fill it with Estus at a bonfire and drink from it to restore HP. The nature of the link between the Estus Flask and the bonfires that illuminate the world of the undead is entirely unknown. So nobody knows where the Estus Flask even really came from. Or the bonfires for that matter. Or they don't know how they're linked. That's what he's saying. But that is of little concern, for any undead knows the value of these precious flasks. So yes, this is your healing item. It restores every use. Every time you touch a bonfire, the uses restore. You start with 1, and don't come over here. Don't come over here. I'm showing you this, but don't come over here. Little piggies, they're kind of a bitch. They have an absurdly a large amount of health for little tiny pigs, and they're kind of hard to hit. Like, only certain attacks will hit them, and there's 3 of them, so they can kind of just gang up on you. Just don't bother going over there. You can run back to a bonfire as long as the enemy's not hot on your tail. If the enemy's far enough away from you, you can touch the bonfire, and it will reset the enemies, put them back to where they were. So those pigs will be now restored to that spot, and they won't be aggroed on me. But as I was saying, you use this, you drink it, it's an item. Now I have 0. It heals you way faster than life gems. When you touch a bonfire, it replenishes all of your uses. You find these periodically throughout, all the way up to 12. Grants additional Estus flask uses. The shard of an Estus flask. Shards are deeply soaked in Estus. Craft the shard to an Estus flask to increase flask uses. Over the ages, countless souls rested their bones as they drank from the original flask, and now this shard remains, serving as a vestige of their hopes and dreams. Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Is that a shard you've
Talk to
Here,
her.
Let me see it.
She'll let
So
you know
that I may
if
help
you have
you.
a shard. She'll say, "Is that a shard you
To see
found?"
light, to see hope.
So it kind of just lets you know. I mean, it's easy
However
to forget
faint
sometimes
it
that you
might
pick
be.
one up. Upgrade Estus flask. Yes. Right. So now you see I have 2. Excuse me, and that's incredibly useful. Now we're gonna wrap this video up by going and getting quite possibly another really good thing. Yeah, I gotta stop phrasing it like that. Just getting a good item early on. If you can't get it, don't worry about it too much. It's not that important, but it will help. Run down here. There's that contraption that the Crestfallen Soldan mentions when I talk to him. Can't do anything with it because you don't have the item you need or the little key for it. Contraption does not move when you click on it. But oh, don't miss this. It's pretty easy to miss. This is a metal chest. They can still be mimics, so you can still hit these to make sure they're not a mimic. If it's a mimic, you'll do damage to it, and you won't get destroyed if you try to open it. But metal chests cannot be broken. I'd like to think that they made the metal chests so they can't be broken because they do put sometimes they do put really important items in them. But other times, as you see here, Crimson Parma, they don't really. Seems inconsistent with what's important and what's not, and why there's wooden and metal. You cannot break a metal one though, so you can hit it all day long if you want. The Crimson Parma is just a weak little shield. Like, it looks a little cool, but it only does 75% physical reduction and not very good stats on everything else. 5, it's the highest on lightning and dark, other than 75. And it's only got 35 stability, so I mean it only weighs 1 pound, so that's good. But compared to this, it only weighs 3 pounds, and it has 50 stability and 90 physical reduction, with 60 being the highest in fire. I mean, I don't know why they put it in a metal chest. This over here is a door leading to Hades Tower of Flame. Here is where you open the door. Don't miss this. Because it can be pretty easy to miss. In fact, to be honest with you, I missed it my first time through, and I assumed I had to get some kind of contraption to open this door. But no, instead, you can just go here right away and pull that lever straight ahead. I'll weapon back out. You know what? Let's mess around with that I've never really used it, so let's run with it. Why not? And the door will close. You won't ever really need to, but to get the other side, the lever's right up there. You won't ever really need to worry about that, because you can just use the bonfire from this area, but, you know, whatever. Be thorough, right? Soul of a lost undead, and a broken thief sword. Broken thief, it looks cool. It's very, very similar to the dagger. You know, I should have just kept that dagger out. Dagger does 56 damage, this does 57 damage, and this has 15. The dagger only has 10 poise damage, though. This has 15. Other than that, though, it has the same move set. Pretty sure it uses very similar stamina off, not a little bit more. Yep. Oh, actually, interesting. So, yeah, it is a different move set. It has the same weak attack, or light attack, but the heavy attack is not a stab. It's more of a longsword slice. No. Two-hand it really quick. Need to check that. Yep. So that's a broadsword. And that's still... And... broadsword attack. Same as the sprinting, duh. What am I doing? Oh, okay, so that's another interesting thing. That's got the stab attack. So that's the same as the dagger. So yeah, it's just a dagger crossed with a sword, basically. I guess that's why it's a broken thief sword. Derp. Alright, Hades Tower Flame. This area is beautiful, and if you remember, I'll show you down when we get down to the bonfire. You'll see. Look at this though. It's the Cathedral of Blue over there. You can in fact go there, of course. Leads all the way around. You can kind of see like the path going to it. Oh, there's water going through. Whole area. It's a guy standing off in the distance, looming. And that guy down there. You can see the boss area right there. Or can you? This guy? I normally don't, but I did find a way to cheese him. It's kind of funny. Just stand right here. When he gets to about there. No, don't. Oh, God, that was very close, though. Don't be stupid and fall off. It's close to falling off. Had I not jumped, I probably would have died right there. But yeah, if you stand right here, and then, or more like right here, and he'll start walking towards you. Once he gets to about here himself, you want to run towards him right through here. And he'll go to attack and sweep himself right off the edge. It's kind of just fun to do. Other than that, though, I'll show you how to fight him, because they're also really easy to fight. They're big and menacing looking, but they're pushovers. We did come here for a reason, though. This is going to be more of a walkthrough, showing you one of the easier ways and best ways to go through the game. But this area is important, I feel. Is that stab? So yeah, they have this 3-move attack. Whoa, which you gotta watch, because they can spend 180 with that thing sometimes, and they have a huge reach. And if you stay behind them, they're not really much of a problem. And they'll only do the 3 moves. If you stay in front of them, though, they can do the overhead strike. Occasionally, they have a 4th stabbing attack that they like to... Oh, you gonna do it? No, I rolled away. But yeah, they'll have a 4th stabbing attack, which you saw in the beginning there. Ooh, and that's got such a huge range. But they're pushovers. If you stay behind them, just fight them off pretty quickly. This guy is why we're here, and once we kill him, we'll turn around. But he's a little bit more difficult. Oh, and he's gonna get me with that one for sure. He can be tough. Like I said, he's got that 3 get away from him when he does that. The 3rd attack has a huge sweep on it, and he will come out of nowhere with it. Look at those iframes at work. But yeah, he can be a bitch. if you can't beat him, don't worry too much. It's not that important, but he does drop an incredibly useful item. And I got to dodge. Hallelujah. Sublime bonus. It's just right there, the first 2 enemies in this area, and you get Sublime Bone Dust. Charred Ashen Bones. Cast them into the fire in Majula to increase the HP restored with each use of your flask. They say there are remains of a saint. They say these are the remains of a saint who cast himself into the bonfire. But we will never know for sure, for soot and ashes tell no story. Now that's very interesting right there. That lore. It's almost like they're referring to your character in Dark Souls 1. He sacrificed himself, threw himself onto the bonfire to save the Time of Light, to preserve the flame, basically, with himself. It was the ultimate sacrifice. And now you use these Sublime Bone Dusts, Soul of a Nameless Soldier, and a Human Effigy. Woohoo! That's also kind of useful, you know? But you find this, which are his ashes, and you burn them to increase the defense, or increases HP restored with each use of your flask. So, yeah, it increases the amount of health that your flask restores upon using it. See, I'm at 2 now, and you can't, it's worth noting, you can look at it here, but you can't use it. You can only burn it in Majula. You burn this item in a bonfire, by the way. Burning it will make it so you can... Yeah, burning it's how you use it. That is where Crestfallen Soldan is. That guy at the top of the stairs in Majula. And you look off and you look down in here at that place that's in the water. Well, that's where we are. It's pretty cool. They kind of foreshadow, like, the fact you can see. There's so many areas in Dark Souls, the whole series, where you can see the area before you get there, and it's just incredible. I love that. It's very immersive. It makes you feel like it's a real world, you know? We're going to travel back, though. Travel back to Majula, because we got what we came here for. And that's probably going to wrap up this video. Yeah. Probably, make this one a little bit shorter. Go ahead and talk to her, probably level up one more time, show you the leveling system really quick for those who missed that last video. Oh,
This land swallow you whole, as it
speed it up. Level up. So, bigger affects just your health. As you can see, it raises it by 30 with diminishing returns. I'm pretty sure past 20 you get diminishing returns. It only raises it 20 HP after that. And it also affects your petrify resistance, endurance, stamina, and a little bit of HP. Everything else affects your HP, but only by like 2. But endurance affects your stamina and your poise. And I mentioned before about how the armor gives you poise, which is good. You also have natural poise. I didn't mention that at the time because 1.8 natural poise doesn't really mean anything. But if you build your endurance and adaptability, it will build your poise, your natural poise, and you can get it up there. And adaptability also affects agility, which affects how many iframes you get when you roll. And it's not that many. Sometimes it kind of feels like it, I don't know, maybe it's just placebo, but I really think that it does. I think it increases the iframes you get while rolling to a certain extent, along with everything. Your poise too, your natural poise, which is very nice. Dexterity and strength both affect what weapons you can wield and how much damage you do with those weapons and what armor you can wear. Attunement affects how many attunement slots you have and your casting speed. Starting at 10 attunement is what you need for your first slot, and then after that it's 12, and then I think 15, and then yeah, just more and more after that, up to like I think you get 6 for 30 of them. For 30 attunement. Vitality affects, instead of this time your HP, vitality affects your equipment load now. Affects how much you can carry before you are over encumbered. It also affects your physical defense by a little bit. I guess maybe because of your armor. I'm not quite sure about that. But also your poison defense. No, I think it's just a little bit because of, yeah. because of it. But yeah, it affects how much you can carry, and it also affects your roll speed. If you're over encumbered, you won't be able to roll at all, and you'll move very slowly. If you're at 70%, more than 70% of your encumbrance, then you will be fat rolling, which is a very slow roll, and everything less than that is kind of just gradual change. Like the lighter you are, the faster you'll roll. Endurance, stamina. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pump another one. We're gonna put into adaptability. We're gonna put into endurance, actually. Yep. And we're gonna go ahead and.
Bearer of the seek,
That's not what I wanted you to do.
lest this
Earn this sublime bone dust. Damn you, mouse. Get the fuck out of there. Some force to strengthen the Estus Flask. It's interesting that it says some force, because they don't know what the force is. They don't know what happened. Just... See, now it says Estus Flask +1. That's very good, and that's a good place to wrap up this video. Tomorrow, we're going to continue onward towards the actual path, down that away. And you will join me. Later, guys.